Good evening, my dear students. So, in this lecture, we will be talking about online racism during the height of the pandemic. So, pang-apat na ICT-related issue na po ito. Ano po? In this lecture, we would like to see, or I would like to show you how social media, specifically Twitter, was used as a platform for racist activities, especially towards Chinese people or people of Asian descent. Before we start, magsimula muna tayo sa mga kaunting bokabularyo para makasabay tayong lahat dun sa mga terms na lalabas in the lecture. So, you can see a jumbled letters. Try to unjumble it para makuha nyo yung tamang salita. We have a definition below. Ang paniniwala na may lahing mas superior sa iba at ang mga taong kabilang sa isang inferior na lahi ay may katangiang di kaaya-aya kumpara sa mga superior race. So what do you think is the word? The word is, of course, racism. So one instance of racism was during the Holocaust. So the Holocaust was during World War II. So Germany ang sentro ng kwento na to, no? And si Adolf Hitler, yung kanilang leader nung time na yon. So, yung genocide na nangyari noong panahon na iyon ay tinawag na Holocaust. So, doon sa Holocaust, pinapatay ng mga Germans as led by Adolf Hitler, yung higit 6 na milyong European Jews. Kasi naniniwala sila na doon sa Europe, merong mga kabilang sa superior race na tinawag nilang Aryan race. May ganoon silang uri ng ideolohiya before. And unfortunately, isa yung mga Jews, yung mga Jewish community ng Europe ang na-consider as inferior, of inferior race, of inferior blood. So, para nagkaroon ng isang ethnic cleansing kung saan tinanggal nila lahat ng sa tingin nila ang mga taong inferior, hindi kabilang doon sa Aryan race. So that's called racism. When you treat a certain group of people, a certain race as inferior to you. When you see that there are races that are more superior than others, that's racism. How about this one? So according to the definition, ito ay ang hindi patas na pagtrato sa isang tao dahil sa kanyang kasarian, kulay ng balat o lahi. The mystery word is discrimination. So I think you know this one. So an example is, hindi daw natanggap itong si Maria, although pasok siya doon sa qualification noong job nung siya ay nag-apply, just because she is a woman. Maybe the job is stereotyped as being part of the male world, nakita or ang traditional na pagtingin doon sa trabaho ay panglalaki. So kapag ganoon, hindi tatanggap yung mga babae sa trabaho na yon, although pasok sila sa qualification, that's considered sex discrimination or gender discrimination rather. How about this one? So phobia. Binigay na yung salitang phobia. Ano kaya yung unang parte ng salita? Isang salita lang po ito, no? Pagkatakot o pagkamuhi sa isang tao na dayo o foreigner o kaya kakaiba sa karamihan. So if you have this type of phobia, fear of stranger or fear of foreigner, kagustuhan mong mawala sila sa iyong presensya. You don't feel comfortable around them. The mystery word is xenophobia. So for example, there's a Muslim in an office. Meron isang empleyadong Muslim. And di ba nakasuot yung mga Muslim ng hijab? Let's say it's a woman. So because of the history in the past, na i-stereotype yung mga naka-hijab na mga terrorist, di ba yung mga Abu Sayyaf, nakasuot sila ng pangkasuot ng pang-Muslim. And they are considered terrorists, especially in the US. So if you don't feel comfortable being around those people na naka-hijab, which is part of their culture, and when you saw them, you feel uncomfortable, you think they are terrorists, you don't want to be around them. You're being xenophobic towards that group of people. Ano po? Number 4, so yeah, this is another type of phobia, specific type of xenophobia, and the target are the Chinese people, China, and the culture of the people of China. This one is xenophobia or sinophobia. The word sino is associated with China. Ano po? Di ba we have vaccine Sinopharm? So that vaccine was created in China, was developed in China rather. So this one is an example. In the US, binoycott ang mga Chinese restaurant, ang mga Chinese-owned restaurant, ang mga serving Asian cuisine or Chinese cuisine noong kasagsagan ng pandemya because they think that Chinese are the one who brought the virus, the COVID-19 virus that resulted to the pandemic. Ano po? Not only Chinese actually, also people of Asian descent. Lalo na pag mga singkit ang mata. So, generalized na as Asian, considered as well as quote unquote the cause of the pandemic, sabi nila. Number 5, so you have an R, an L, a U, and two S's. Mga mapanakit at nakaka-insultong komento tungkol sa isang tao o kultura. So the missing word is slurs. So an example of slurs is Pinoys. So when we have slurs, usually there's a bit of a play of words. Merong combination of words usually na kanilang binubuo para siyang sounds like another word. So in this one, Pinoy was spelled or was pronounced as Pinoys. So this one is in the online gaming community. So ito ay binibigay na comment or tinatawag doon sa mga Pinoy online gamers na mahilig mag-trash talk. Ano po o kaya ay malakas daw yung boses and high pitch yung boses kaya may noise kapag sila ay nagagalit and kapag hindi pumapanig sa kanila yung takbo ng laro, no? So nagagamit nila yung microphone, in-game microphone to say to do the trash talking. So they are called Pinoys by the other players. So slurs are derogatory or humiliating in nature. Ano po? So now let's start our lesson. So let's start from the beginning. Ano po? So in March 16, 2020, remember this is the height of the lockdown. Real Donald Trump, if you remember, Donald Trump was the president after Mr. Barack Obama, no, in the US. So that's his handle on Twitter. So sabi niya sa kanyang tweet, the United States will be powerfully supporting those industries like airlines and others that are particularly affected by the Chinese virus. Ayan. We will be stronger than ever before. So, just to give you a bit of a context, di ba, noong nagkaroon ng lockdown, hindi naman lumalabas ng bahay yung mga tao. Ano po? And because of that, yung ating tourism industries like the airlines, hospitality industries, ay hindi nagkakaroon ng customer. Nagkaroon sila ng matagal na downtime. Ano po? So this is what Donald Trump was talking about when he said that they are going to support those types of industries. Now the problem here is this term, Chinese virus. So instead of calling it the neutral term, the scientific term, COVID-19, pinili niyang tawagin itong Chinese virus. Now, when you call a virus Chinese virus, di ba ang implication ay parang, ay, nanggaling ito sa China. This virus came from China. Kasi inuugnay mo siya sa salitang Chinese virus. Ano po? So, what happened because of the use of that term by Donald Trump? There are several researches and several reports that after Trump used the term Chinese virus to refer to COVID-19, nagkaroon ng pagtaas ng anti-Asian hashtags on Twitter. This is from the University of California, San Francisco Research. This is another one from ABC News saying the same thing. The Chinese virus tweet of Trump helped led to rise in racist anti-Asian Twitter content according to the study. And hindi yun pinapayagan ng WHO yung pag-ugnay sa location or ethnicity sa isang sakit. Sabi dito, don't attach location or ethnicity to the disease. Kasi ang tendency ng tao, nagkakaroon sila ng negative perception doon sa naiuugnay na locality or ethnicity. Like for example, the swine flu, WHO do not recommend na itawaging swine flu yung sakit na iyon. Kasi kapag narinig yun ng tao, swine flu, may isip nila, ay swine, hindi muna ako bibili ng baboy during this particular period kasi may swine flu. Ano po? So, maaring malugi, 'di ba? Yung meat industry, although kakaunting area lang naman talaga yung may concern doon sa swine flu if the term was used. So, instead of using those types of terms, gusto ng WHO na tawagin na lang yung COVID-19 as COVID-19. The neutral term, the scientific term, COVID-19, instead of the Chinese virus. Okay, so nakatanggap ng backlash itong si Donald Trump sa paggamit ng Chinese virus na term. But despite the backlash, hindi niya ito pinansin and para sa kanya hindi naman racist yung kanyang ginawa, yung kanyang pag-tweet noon sa Twitter kasi sadya nga daw namang nanggaling sa China yung COVID-19 according to him. So according to some researchers po talaga, there was an association dahil sa paggamit ni Trump. Syempre malaki ang platform niya, he was the president during that time, with regards to the rise in anti-Asian hashtags in Twitter. So in this chart, you can see in the x-axis the dates. So starting from March 9, March 16, if you remember, was the date kung saan nag-tweet si Trump and ginamit yung salitang Chinese virus. March 16 was the date kung kailan nag-tweet si Trump using the term Chinese virus to refer to the COVID-19. And going on until March 23, yung ating data. Now, in the y-axis, you can see the number of anti-Asian hashtags na ginamit in Twitter. An example of anti-Asian hashtag is, ayun nga, yung hashtag Chinese virus. Okay? So, as you can see here, dalawa yung graph na meron tayo, the black solid line, referring to the number of hashtag na ginamit yung number of posts rather or tweets na ginamit yung hashtag Chinese virus. Well, this one, the broken line was the use of the hashtag COVID-19. So right after the day ginamit ni Trump yung term na Chinese virus, there was a steep increase in the number of other tweets that use the same hashtag. So nakita natin yung epekto nung anti-Asian nung kanyang comment on the racist post, anti-Asian post in Twitter. Now this is another graph, so here you are shown 6 different important events during the lockdown period. For example, January 23, this one, event number 2, nag-announce ng lockdown yung China sa Wuhan and in Hubei. January 30, ayan na, sinabi na ng WHO that this is a public health emergency, this is a pandemic. February 23, a month after announcement ng China ng lockdown, nag-lockdown na yung Italy. Remember, Italy was another one of the earlier hotspots. And then March 9, extension of the Italy restrictions. And then during March 16, the use of the term Chinese virus by Donald Trump. Sige. We can also see the dates here. So, event number 2, nag-lockdown sa China. 3, nag-announce na yung WHO about the public health emergency. 4, there was a lockdown in Italy. 4 and 5 and 6, hashtag Chinese virus was used. Sige, tingnan natin. Ito yung ating base data, blue, post mentioning China. Red, post mentioning Chinese. So, during event number 2, nakita natin yung sharp increase in the use of both, in the mention of both terms, China and Chinese, during the lockdown of Wuhan. In event 3, nung nag-announce na sila ng public health emergency, mas nag-spike yung ating paggamit ng pag-mention ng terms na iyon. So, from 3,500, it increased until 4,500. Ano po? But when there was a lockdown in Italy, we saw a certain decline, no? Konti lang yung nag-mention kapag Italy and during in the Western world yung lockdown. But when Trump used again the term Chinese virus, there was again the highest spike, no? The spike in number of posts mentioning China and Chinese. So 5,000 posts during that day. This is in 4chan, not in Twitter. So I would like to show you some examples of the Twitter post na nakita ng mga researchers. So I have to use some asterisks on some of the terms. Please excuse the terms. But ito yung real data kasi na nakuha nila. Ano po? The ding-dongs, the ching-chongs, and most definitely the chinks. And then here you can see the anti-Asian, examples of anti-Asian hashtags. China lied, people died, hashtag coronavirus, hashtag Chinese virus. Even more specific, hashtag Wuhan virus. And some even wishing harm, hashtag burn Wuhan and bomb China. Nuke China. When we say nuke China, papatakan ng atomic bomb. Ano po? So this is around March 17, March 20, several days after March 16, the day of the Trump tweet, if you remember. These are examples of slurs, ding-dongs, ching-chongs. They are making fun of the way Chinese people speak their native language. Ching-chong, ding-dong, parang ganon, no? And then the chinks, chink means small opening. Chink in the armor. When we say chink in the armor, yun yung soft spot, shall we say, yung weak point, Achilles heel ng isang armor. When we say chink, it's a small gap. So they are making fun of the eyes, 'di ba? Mga singkit ang mga Chinese. When we say scapegoating, this is a term used to when you are scapegoating, sinisisi mo yung problema sa iba. For example, hindi ako magmamask kasi hindi ko naman kasalanan yung pandemic, kung bakit nagkaroon ng pandemic. Hindi ako magpapaturok ng vaccine because hindi ko naman kasalanan na nakakaranas tayo ng lockdown ngayon. It's the fault of the Chinese, of the Asians. That's scapegoating. When you are scapegoating, you don't want the responsibility. So binibigay mo sa iba. Extremist, very extreme point of view. We can say xenophobic. You want to exterminate them. You want them to be gone. You want them to be erased from the world. Aside from calling them chink, they were also referred as the yellow Jew. Yellow referring to the skin color. Medyo yellowish, yung mga Chinese, yung kanilang skin. Yellow Jew The Jews, if you remember the Holocaust story, sila yung naging victim, noong campaign before ni Adolf Hitler to eliminate them. So now, these people are suggesting that we do a second Holocaust because of what's happening during the height of the pandemic, during the lockdown. There were also tweets containing conspiracy theory. So sabi dito, the virus is actually a Chinese bioweapon. So when we say bioweapon, it's World War 3 or World War 4. World War 3, instead of atomic bombs, instead of waging war through weapons, na-create in a laboratory di umano ang mga Chinese ng virus so they can achieve world domination. It's either a brainlet, so insulting the intelligence of others, or a Chicom, Chinese communist. Communism kasi yung form of government in China. So this is the N-word. This is referred, before this was referred to, or this is referred to Black Americans as an insult, as a slur against them. Noodle, this is making fun of their culture. Diba? They like to eat noodles. Chinese or Asians in general. East Asians. Racial slurs. So these are some examples of racial slurs na ginamit to refer to Chinese. Chinkland, land, and then chink, referring to their eyes. Ching chong, you already saw this a while ago. Chingsek. So this is a play of word. Chink plus insect. So double derogatory na, not only making fun of their physical appearance, but calling or referring to them as low life, like insects. Making fun of their culture, rice plus the N-word. Kung flu. Remember, kung fu is their martial art technique, and then kung fu is their martial art technique, and the flu referring to the virus, coronavirus. Yellow Jew, not only yellow Jew but also yellow, and then the N-word. Asshole, diba? When Chinese try to speak in English, some of the syllables they cannot pronounce. So this is making fun of that. And sexual stereotype about the size of the genitalia, of Asian people. So only as big as a pin is what they're trying to say. So what is the problem? What is the problem if merong tayong ganong klase ng racism na nagaganap online? What is the problem if there is a lot of posts using anti-Asian hashtags? Meron ba yung epekto sa nangyayari in real life? So there are researches that says na kapag yung isang lugar may mataas na paggamit ng online racism or hate speech online sa lugar na yon, there's also an increase in physical and verbal abuse happening in real life. So these are cases, reports of Chinese people or people of Asian descent na racially aggravated, as you can see in the title of the article, just because they were Asians, just because they were Chinese looking during the pandemic. So in this one, a teenager was bitten by other teenagers. You can see the wounds, yung mga pasa niya, no? And sabi nung kanyang mga aggressors, we don't want your coronavirus in our country. So even in schools, they were called bullies. May mga bullies accusing Asian American students of spreading the coronavirus. So in this article, meron daw isang Vietnamese American student, grade 8 student, na napaubo daw siya inside the classroom dahil nasamid siya. Nasamid siya dun sa kanyang iniinom na tubig. He coughed from swallowing water. So the class and the teacher immediately had him go outside of the class and be sent to the clinic. or the nurse's office kasi umubo siya, and they were paranoid that the student was spreading coronavirus. According to the reports, hindi doon naman pinapalabas yung ibang students na umuubo din kasi hindi sila Asian. Okay? Xenophobia or xenophobia was even more heated doon sa mga public transportation system kasi closed container ayun ano. So if you are an Asian in buses or trains, tapos kasabay mo yung mga Americans, they would be paranoid just to be around you. Ano po? Kasi it's a closed environment. So this happened to Allison Park. Meron daw nag-confront sa kanya, no? Sabi sa kanya, get out of here, go back to China. I don't want none of your swine flu here. Sabi sa kanya. So verbal abuse ang nangyari dito. According to this report in YouTube, ABC News, because of the level of violence, level of harassment received by Asian people, Asian American people, nagkaroon ng pag-increase in the sales of guns, of Asian buying guns, just so they can have a way to protect themselves. Not only verbal and physical abuse, there were also vandalism that happened. So, an Asian woman owns this car. Ano po? Now, this is another one from the video. You can see an Asian person standing quietly doon sa train, and this black person was holding an container of alcohol and spraying the alcohol to the Asian American. Ano po? There were also restaurants that closed because of the boycott from Americans. Hindi sila pumapasok or hindi nila binibilhan, hindi sila kumakain doon sa mga Chinese-owned restaurants serving Asian cuisines. So because of this online racism and physical and verbal abuse against Asian Americans, there was a movement that came to life. This is the hashtag I am not a virus. So I am not a virus, yung kanilang naging pangalan ng kanilang campaign, the campaign name. So if you visit their website, so ito yung itsura ng kanilang website. You can see the color scheme. They're trying to maintain the yellow color. So I just want to emphasize yung kanilang creativity in naming their campaign. They're not trying to be direct to the point. Like for example, hashtag no to online racism, no to Asian discrimination. Instead, they try to be creative by using the statement, I am not a virus. Okay? So already from the campaign name, you can already sense this is about the COVID-19. And this is about the racism felt or experienced by people of Asian descent during the pandemic. So in the website, you can see some posters. Ano po? The only thing spreading faster than COVID-19 is intolerance. My ethnicity is not a virus. Let's attack the virus, not our neighbors. So several of these statements, and then you can see some powerful images of people, Asian-looking Asians, and then behind their masks are yung mga sugat and wounds that they received from assumingly from physical violence. There were also some videos. Videos are usually used to trigger emotions. So our campaign began with a simple question. If not a virus, then what are you? So in the video, there were several healthcare workers were shown. Asian healthcare workers were shown. They were saying that they are not the virus. And they are actually helping everyone, regardless of the race, the skin color, of the nationality, to recover the sick people, the infected by the COVID-19 to recover. Aside from the I am not a virus campaign, it also gave birth to other sorts of campaigns, ano, like this public art campaign. I still believe in our city. Kumbaga, they still try to believe, they're still trying to believe that they are safe. They are safe in their city, in the city where they grow up. Ano po? This is in New York. So they try to post, or they posted these colorful posters on public spaces. I am not your scapegoat. This is our home too. I did not make you sick. And then in focus are faces as painted by an artist of Asian people. There's a Filipino one. Nananalig pa rin ako sa lungsod natin. Of course, aside from public art campaigns, there were also demonstration. Ano po? Asian is not a virus, racism is. So according to this article, Asian Americans were more fearful, or they are more worried by the racist Americans than the virus itself. Because the virus has a vaccine, but racism, wala tayong vaccine para dyan. My race is not a virus. March 27, 2021. Oh, diba? Even 1 year after the Chinese virus tweet of Donald Trump, the racism was still happening. So I have some question before we end this slide. I want you to think about this question based on what you saw in this lecture. I want you to think about the question. Just because you have freedom of speech, one of your rights, no? Maaari mo bang i-share or i-post ang kahit anong maisipan mo sa social media? Do you think it's appropriate just because you have freedom of speech? I will let you think about it. Please write your answers in your notebook. Thank you, my dear students, and good night.